Você saberia se sair bem em uma entrevista de emprego em inglês? Descubra agora com esse diálogo real e cheio de vocabulário útil.
Good morning, Maria. Thank you for coming in today. We're happy to get to know you better. Let's begin with a classic question. Can you introduce yourself and tell me a bit about your background?
Of course. Good morning, Miss Bennett. Thank you for inviting me. I'm really excited to be here today. My name is Maria. I'm 19 years old, and I recently completed a technical course in tourism. Since finishing my course, I've been looking for opportunities to apply what I learned in class in a real work environment. I'm a very curious and determined person. I always try to understand how things work, and I enjoy being in contact with people from different cultures. During my course, I especially liked the modules on customer service, tour planning, and communication. I also had the chance to practice both English and Spanish during the lessons, and I always looked for ways to improve outside the classroom too.
That's great to hear. It's important to be proactive about your learning. So, why did you choose tourism? Was it a personal interest or did something specific inspire you?
Hmm, that's a great question. I'd say it was a combination of both. I've always been passionate about languages and different cultures. When I was younger, my family couldn't really travel, but I always watched documentaries and read books about other countries. That really sparked something in me. Then, when I started high school, I realized I was good at talking to people. I enjoyed listening, helping, and solving problems. I figured out that tourism could be a way to combine these passions: culture, language, and human interaction. That's what motivated me to enroll in the technical course. Since then, I've only become more sure that this is the right path for me.
I love that answer. And how would you describe your personality and the kind of worker you are?
I'd describe myself as calm, focused, and very organized. I like to plan ahead, and I always make sure I understand exactly what I need to do before I start. I'm not afraid to ask questions if I don't understand something because I believe that clear communication is key to a good job. I also try to stay positive, especially when things get stressful. I don't like conflict, and I always try to listen and find solutions. I'm also very open to feedback. I actually enjoy when someone shows me a better way to do something because that's how I learn.
And what would you say are your main strengths and weaknesses?
One of my biggest strengths is definitely my organization. I like to keep everything in order, whether it's physical space, schedules, or priorities. I also take pride in being reliable. If I say I'll do something, I'll do it. I'm also very respectful and polite, especially with clients. Now, as for weaknesses, I tend to overthink things, especially when I really want to get something right. Sometimes I spend too much time double checking details, which can slow me down. I'm working on that by learning to trust myself more and by setting time limits when I work on tasks.
Let's talk a little about your skills. What are some things you're especially good at when it comes to work or study?
Well, I'd say I'm very good at communicating clearly and staying calm under pressure. During my course, I often volunteered to present group projects or explain topics to classmates when someone didn't understand something. I actually like helping people feel comfortable, especially when they're nervous or confused. I also enjoy organizing things: events, schedules, information. In one of our practical classes, we had to simulate a travel agency, and I was in charge of managing bookings and responding to emails. I really liked that responsibility. I also know how to use tools like Excel, Google Drive, and I recently started learning Canva to create simple travel brochures.
That's a strong mix of technical and interpersonal skills. Now, let's say you were in a real job and a tourist arrived angry or frustrated. How would you handle that situation?
I think the most important thing is to stay calm and listen first. I'd let the client express themselves without interrupting, and then I'd repeat back what I understood, just to make sure they feel heard. After that, I'd try to solve the issue, whether it's offering a solution or asking for help if I can't fix it myself. In the tourism course, our teacher once taught us to always acknowledge the client's emotions, even if we can't give them exactly what they want. I think that really stuck with me.
That's a great attitude. Can you give me an example of a time when something went wrong and you had to find a solution quickly?
Yes, I can. During one of our school events, I was helping coordinate a small tour for students from another class. We had everything planned, but at the last minute, one of the speakers canceled and there was a 30-minute gap in the schedule. Instead of panicking, I talked to one of the professors and asked if we could add an interactive activity with a quiz about local tourist spots. He liked the idea, and we managed to keep the group engaged while still sticking to the rest of the plan. That moment really taught me to think fast and stay flexible.
Impressive. You seem to handle unexpected situations with maturity. Let's talk a little about your future. Where do you see yourself in the next few years?
That's a question I've actually thought about a lot. In the short term, I hope to join a team where I can learn, grow, and get used to the rhythm of the industry. I'd really like to develop my communication and problem-solving skills by working directly with clients. In the next few years, I hope to become a more experienced professional, maybe even lead small groups or help train new interns someday. And in the long run, who knows? I'd love to travel, learn more languages, and maybe even work abroad. But first, I want to build a strong foundation.
That's a very balanced answer. Now, let's talk about this position specifically. Why do you want to work here?
I have actually researched your company, and I found it really interesting. You work with a lot of international clients, and your team seems very welcoming and professional. I read on your website that you also offer training programs for interns, which I think is amazing. For someone like me who's just starting out, it's very important to learn from a company that invests in people. I also really appreciate how much you value customer satisfaction. I'd love to be part of that.
That's great to hear. And what is your availability like? Are you able to work on weekends or holidays?
I'm currently available full-time, including weekends and holidays if needed. I don't have any other jobs or school at the moment, so I can fully commit to this opportunity. And if the schedule changes, I can easily adapt.
That's good. We often need flexible interns during busy seasons. Now, what are you looking for in a team or work environment?
I really value a respectful and communicative environment. I like when team members support each other and when everyone feels comfortable asking questions or sharing ideas. I also appreciate clear feedback, both positive and constructive. I believe that's how people grow. It's important for me to feel that I'm contributing even as a beginner and that I have space to improve without fear of making mistakes.
We're getting close to the end of our interview, Maria. Before we finish, do you have any questions for me or about the position?
Yes, I do. I'd like to ask how interns are usually trained during the first weeks. Do they follow someone or do they start working right away?
Good question. We usually assign a mentor for each intern. During the first week, you'll observe, shadow, and assist with basic tasks. After that, you'll slowly take on more responsibilities, depending on how comfortable you feel. We always make sure you feel supported.
That sounds great. It really helps to know we're not alone in the beginning. Another thing I was wondering is, what do you look for in an intern besides technical skills?
We mostly look for attitude. We want someone who wants to learn, who shows up on time, who communicates well, and who's open to feedback. We don't expect you to know everything. That's what we're here to teach. But we do appreciate people who try, who ask questions, and who are respectful to both the team and the clients.
That makes a lot of sense. I really value that kind of environment. Honestly, just by talking to you today, I can tell that this is the kind of place I'd love to work in.
I'm glad to hear that. You've made a great impression today, Lucas. You expressed yourself well, you showed maturity and motivation. We'll be finishing the interview process this week, and we'll get back to you by Friday.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate your time and attention. This experience already taught me a lot, and I'd be really happy to join the team if I'm selected.
You're very welcome. It was a pleasure meeting you. Have a great rest of your day.
You too, Ms. Bennett. Thanks again.
Thanks for watching. We hope this interview role play helped you improve your English skills and feel more confident in job interviews.
Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more useful lessons. See you next time.